through a good-sized hole, wrapped up by Dave Duerson and company. Otis Wilson got a piece of it after a 5-yard gain. There's Duerson, who replaced Todd Bell at safety last year when Bell refused to sign a contract, and Duerson from Notre Dame went right on to the Pro Bowl. Now Todd Bell is a reserve. The feeling is that Bell eventually will take Fensick's spot, and you'll have Bell and Duerson, two heavy hitters at the Bear safety spots.
Well, it certainly gives them great depth to have Bell and Al Harris back in that lineup. Both held out last.
5, the toss to Kevin Mack, gets a block on the corner and has a first down at the 43-yard line. Mike Richardson down low to make the hit.
Dan Fike, big number 69, out in front of that play and using those long arms to push one of the defenders off and give Mack a little bit of room.
With the yardage picked up here in the first 2 carries by Mack and Biner, their total is 19 yards against Walter Payton's 46. There's Payton eager to get his chance.
Of course, Biner has picked up considerable yardage in the passing game, and that's not reflected there. That's not really an accurate reflection of what Cleveland has done offensively.
37 yards of pass receiving. In heavy traffic, Kozar somehow got it away to Biner down the sidelines to the 35, the 30, and it's Singletary who finally gets him out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Oh, that play had inches written all over it. Just inches away from being sacked was Kozar. He just did thread the ball out to Biner, and then Biner tiptoeing down the sidelines.
You'll see again the great pressure on Kozar here. Right there, 2 people almost on top of him. I believe that was Richard Dent, but he was still able. He has a very powerful live arm, able to get that ball out. Look at that move by Biner. Just threw Dave Duerson right across in front of him. And again, that's like a long handoff to the running back, and he's wide open.
44 yards for Biner officially, and here he goes again to the outside. Tried to slice in and picks up 3 at the 15-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7. Let's look at our 10-minute ticker. The Redskins leading the Eagles by 6. The Rams in a field goal battle in the 3rd against St. Louis. Houston has a 2-touchdown lead against Green Bay. Detroit 7, Minnesota 3. 49ers lead is cut in half by Tampa Bay, and Atlanta still holds a 14-3 advantage at New Orleans. Here it's 24-14, the Bears over the Browns, but Cleveland impressively takes the kickoff to start this second half and has it now at the Bear 15. Biner way out to the right. Only Mack in the backfield. 9 men on the line of scrimmage for the Bears, and they give to Mack. He has a touchdown. They came with a 9-man rush and a couple of blocks in the center of the line with Babb to center and Farron and Fike the guards. They sprung Kevin Mack through untouched.
And all of the things that people talked about that could happen to that pressuring defense of the Bears, if you find the open man, you can get the ball to him. If they put that many people on the line and you can block, who's going to make the tackle? Well, no one there, no one home when Kevin Mack breaks the line of scrimmage. Some excellent pickups by the Browns. Pick up there of a point as the field or the extra point is good.
Matt Barr adds the extra point. The Bears did not allow a touchdown run over 7 yards last year. Mack went 14. Cleveland Browns take the kickoff, start the second half, and march it right down and through into the end zone of the Chicago Bears and cut the Bears' lead to 24-21. Kevin Mack, a 14-yard burst up the middle, and now Matt Barr to kick it off. And Mike Ditka, not a happy man, prowling the Bear sidelines. Gentry and Sanders are deep for Chicago. It's to Tom Sanders' side at the 5. 10. Flag down. Sanders at the 20. Another flag down. And finally he's run out of bounds at the 33-yard line. But a flag at the 5 and a flag at the 27. And that does not spell good news for Chicago.
Forced out of bounds by Hogarth and Harper.
Yeah, they'll sort out the penalties, but apparently a hand in the back. It'll give us a chance to go back to the touchdown play of Kevin Mack and how well they blocked that 9-man front of the Bears.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team, number 59. 10 yards.
Ron Rivera ticketed. Let's go back and look at that last play, and you get a chance to see how well Cleveland picked it up. Dan Hampton is going to drive to the outside here, but watch the block by Fike as he drives in on the safety, Gary Fencing. Now watch him. It's like a steamroller in there. Now, stop it again, right there. Fike again makes a second hit right there on the linebacker, and Kevin Mack is wide open. Great play. 2 key blocks by Dan Fike, the right guard.
Fike, who played his football at Florida and was a 10th round pick of the New York Jets 4 years ago, and finding a happy home in that offensive line for Cleveland. Back to the 4-yard line on the penalty on the kickoff return, so the Bears deep in their own end, leading by 3 as Jim McMahon takes charge. Payton and Suey behind him. Suey, the fullback, plowing to the 7-yard line. Reintroduce that Browns defense up front. Camp, Golick, and Hairston. The linebackers, Banks, Johnson, Griggs, and Matthews. Minifield and Dixon at the corners. Gross and Rockins at safety. Surprised by how well Cleveland has played?
Not really surprised, Dick, because they're a quality football operation, and Marty Schottenheimer does one thing that you know he's going to get it done. That's to get his players ready to play. And they believe in the system. They believe they can win. That's the first responsibility right there.
Take that another step after this play. McMahon to Payton. And Walter is out to the 14, close to a first down. They believe they can win, and you have the Bears case that they've gone through this same exercise, and now they know they can win.
The Bears know they can win, Dick, and I think, and certainly it's overworked, the talk of how difficult it is to repeat as champions. But the one fact of it that it's absolute is that it's awfully hard to come back and go to work after you've spent a whole offseason celebrating and spent a whole offseason with so many responsibilities of endorsements and appearances and so forth. And of course, it's the hard work that takes you to that Super Bowl. And sometimes it's difficult to put that into perspective when you've got the ring on your finger and everything's going well.
First down by inches. Mike Ditka, maybe money is enough for some guys. Maybe they don't need Super Bowls. If they're willing to settle for less than the ultimate prize, that's what they'll get.
Well, you earn your way in this league. Right now, I don't think that Mike Ditka is very pleased with everything that's happening. He's seen some things that are making him happy, but I'll tell you, giving up that many points in virtually one half of this game and on the opening drive of the second half is not going to please him at all.
First down, fake to Payton. McMahon throwing to Suey, out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Into the grasp of Clay Matthews, the veteran from Southern California. 6 yards on the play. Well, Ditka said through the preseason that some of my players really came back dedicated to a second Super Bowl. Some seem to take it for granted, and he's really worked on those, tried to spur those that he feels have not given him 100% in practice or in preseason games.
Well, he does have an advantage. He played on the '63 championship Bear team and then came back the next year into what was not a pleasant season. He's been through it personally. He also went through that kind of situation in Dallas, so he knows what it's like, and he can help.
Payton, a little misdirection, and Walter has a first down at the 27-yard line. Matthews again on the tackle, along with Chris Rockins and Anthony Griggs.
You ever wonder what Walter Payton sees as he lines up? Well, a good idea there as he starts inside. And look how he kind of sets up that hole by making the move to the right and then cutting back to the left. I'll tell you, good running backs know how to set up their blockers. They make it easy for a blocker because they put the defensive players at a disadvantage.
And again, a good example of what an attacking runner he is. Less than 10 minutes left, third quarter, 24-21 Chicago. Payton again. Picking his way across the 30-yard line for about 4 more.
Brought down by
Reggie Camp, 96, making the tackle. Played for Joe Kapp out at the University of California. Been a starter in the Browns line since he was a rookie.
Had a tough year last year. Had a foot that was injured and continued to play on it. They just didn't have anybody to step ahead of him, and he couldn't push off on it. And I know that had to be frustrating. I talked to him before the game. He said, "If foot's healthy," he said, I'm glad I can play healthy. I can sense that he's having that kind of day. He's made some good plays already in this game.
McMahon to Suey, wide open at the 40. Suey at the 50. Can he outrun the defense? 30. Running out of gas. 20. And Eddie Johnson gets him at the 10-yard line.
Suey not used to having to go that many yards. Look at him. He's drawn a few heavy breaths of oxygen, but so is Eddie Johnson on the bottom. Walter better take him out for a few wind sprints. An unusual play. Nobody home. They caught the defense out of position, and then Suey runs right through a tackle there by Minifield, and Eddie Johnson doing everything he could to finally get the last gasp tackle. Ball on the 11-yard line.
58 yards on the play for Matt Suey. Indeed, he'll refuel along the sidelines. Calvin Thomas, 33 in front of Peyton. Walter toppled at the 10. Camp in there first. Plenty of help from Johnson and Grigg. On the 10-minute ticker, Washington by 6, the Rams by 10, Houston by 21.
Wow, Houston moving out.
Detroit by 4, 49ers by 7, Atlanta now by 18.
Al Gross is down on the field, Dick. We'll keep an eye on him. Trainer's out to tend to him.
Al Gross in on that last tackle. A timeout with 7:44 remaining in the third quarter in Chicago. Welcome back to Soldier Field. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. We open our 1986 year, and we've had a dandy thus far. 24-21. The Bears leading the Browns. And it's 2nd and 10 from the 11-yard line as Chicago goes for more. McMahon wide open to Peyton for a touchdown. Walter Payton racks up another 6, and no one need lead him into the end zone. He knows the way.
Mike Ditka saying that way we want to do it. Peyton's so dangerous because he is an excellent receiver. We talk about his running. Boy, I tell you, he knows how to catch the ball, and he gets the yardage afterwards.
Second touchdown for Walter Payton this afternoon, and here's Kevin Butler's try for point. Kevin Butler, who made all 51 point-after tries last year, is perfect. Walter Payton celebrating and faking a limp as well. That's not good humor. Bears back on top by 10 as Butler kicks it off. McNeil deep for Cleveland. Number 89, he'll not take it. It's Langhorne, 88. And he's across the 20 to the 23-yard line. Tackle made by Ron Rivera. Al Gross, who is very disappointed, has shown not only his pain but his anger at the injury. His right knee taped in ice, not a good sign. Gross injured the play before the touchdown pass from McMahon to Payton.
With Danford Dixon already injured, that's really a double whammy to that secondary. As you see, McMahon gets everybody moving to the right and then slaps the ball into the hands of Walter Payton. You saw that characteristic long stride as he crossed the goal line.
Bernie Kosar starting from his own 23. Play action to Biner and flips it to Kevin Mack. He gains but a yard. Well covered by Otis Wilson, 7-year man from Louisville. Now that touchdown drive, McMahon went 3 for 3. including the 58-yard pass to Matsui that really set up the score.
Ed Hughes congratulating McMahon on the success there. Hughes, certainly one of the most capable of the offensive coordinators around the league. He and Mike Ditka spend a long time worrying about what they're going to put into action week in and week out.
2nd and 9. Mack out to the 29-yard line. Mike Singletary fighting off the blockers to get to the man carrying the ball. A gain of about 5.
We've seen the great teamwork between Kevin Mack and Ernest Biner, two very close. Biner really an inspiration to Mack, and they get along extremely well, but they do argue about one thing: which one is taller?
And they become very good friends.
Great article in Sports Illustrated just recently about the two of them.
On 3rd down and 4, Mack the only man in the backfield behind Kozar, and he looks for a block, spins away. What an effort, and he's close to a first down at the 34. I believe he has it. Steve McMichael finally secured the tackle, but check that, it's Ernest Biner, who has shown that he can catch the ball, run in the open field, and on that occasion has the power to break a tackle and get the yardage.
Bears expecting the pass there. Biner able to get out of the tackle of Mike Singletary, roll off a second tackle. Boy, what great effort to get that first down.
Biner, who played his college ball at East Carolina, followed Tony Collins. Collins, a New England Patriot running back. Biner again, and bam, he ran right into Wilbur Marshall. No gain. And we run right into that 10-minute ticker. And in that Washington game that Steve Cox kicked a 55-yard field goal for the Redskins. Rams now lead by 10. Houston continues to pour it on the Packers. Detroit up by 7. 49ers, Tampa Bay, no change. In Atlanta, comfortable lead at New Orleans. Here it's 31-21 Chicago. 2nd down and 10 for the Browns at their own 35. Kozar over the middle to Biner, and he's to the 43-yard line, a couple shy of a first down. Boy, they said they were going to use Biner in every situation. We've seen him play about 8 different positions on the field.
And effective from all of them. You see he's taken some of the paint off his helmet. There he comes from the outside now. Just a little bit of a delay. Sneaking in behind the corner, Reggie Phillips out there to make the catch. And even then, look how he runs out. Oh, what power to run right out of those tackles.
3rd down and a long 2. Here comes Kevin Mack, and a flag is down. Mack appears to have the first down at the 46.
It's automatic. We've got an offside on the Bears, Dick, as the right side of the defensive line moved a little bit early.
Reminder, our viewers will note the selection of the Budweiser Most Valuable Player in today's game at the conclusion. Kevin Mack certainly in the running with his 2.
On the line up in the neutral zone.
95.
Richard Dent lined up
Offside, 95. That's a 5-yard penalty. That's a first down.
Well, he moved, and then he tried to get back, didn't get back far enough. So technically lined up offside, but moved into the neutral zone and then didn't get out is what he did.
Richard Dent, nickname Microwave. Puts quick heat in your kitchen.
Quick heat is right. Got a turf toe that's bothered him a little bit, but you've seen his quickness at work today out there.
First down on the 5-yard penalty at the 48. Browns continue to rack up the yardage. Not on this play. Kevin Mack swallowed by the center of that Bear defense. Wilbur Marshall, William Perry, Singletary.
Tackled by Perry and Hampton.
Bears again showing that 46 look as they stack those big linemen on the inside, spread Dent out. Oh, how that strikes fear into the heart of those quarterbacks.
Well, they'll play the Eagles, the Bears, here next Sunday, and Buddy Ryan, the former defensive coordinator, says they'll be all right. They're great athletes, want to win, and Singletary won't let them lose.
And that's not all he said.
We don't have a long enough show. Nor the rebuttal from Mr. Ditka. Kozar to the sidelines, overshoots Webster Slaughter. Slaughter, the rookie, had a good first half, caught 3 balls.
Let's take a quick peek at that defensive lineup, and you can kind of get a feeling for what the Bears are changing in this new season. Well, maybe we'll get it a little bit later. Bears able to give you the sense that you know you're going to have pressure instantly on your quarterback, and that's the whole philosophy of that quick pressure defense. Stack them up on the inside, force the offense to do things they don't want to do.
Flag down, and Perry almost had the interception. The refrigerator about to put a couple of trays right out of the freezing unit around that one, but it fell free.
Holding call on the right side of Cleveland's line, either Fike or Cody Risen, one or the other.
Also a penalty in the Bears secondary, a flag down. We may have a hold defensively.
I'll tell you, that kills you, though. You wait for a chance. You dream about getting that ball in your hands and getting a chance to go somewhere with it. And then suddenly there's one there and you drop it.
The way he was going, though, you know, that had all the marks of running the wrong way.
74 was downfield, illegal. Also holding number 63 on the offense. Decline a penalty. It's 4th down.
The Bears want the ball, and the refrigerator almost had it. How many interceptions? You had 1, right? Or was that a fumble that you...
No, I got a couple of interceptions, or a couple of fumbles, but I got an interception in my rookie year and carried it all the way for a touchdown, and I still keep the clippings at home.
Gossett to punt it. Lou Barnes deep. Barnes at the 12, lets it kick out of bounds, and it goes out at the 7.
Good kick.
Indeed. So Chicago, they started from their 4 on their last touchdown drive. Will begin this time from the 7. Line, the Prudential Tower was the big building, and they've got them twice as big now. The Hancock and the Sears, the tallest in the world. Well over 100 stories. And we have a great lineup for you. The second half after Chicago: Raiders, Denver, Miami, San Diego, Jets, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Indianapolis at New England, Pittsburgh at Seattle. So stay tuned. You will receive one of those games in your marketplace. From the 7, Payton straight ahead for 3. 45-yard punt by Gossett that kicked out of bounds at the 7. Griggs and Clancy in on that last tackle. Again, the Browns playing without 3 key performers. Injured in the game, Al Gross, the safety man who scored the touchdown, the first touchdown of the game. He has been replaced by Felix Wright, 22, and the tight end Ozzie Newsome is out. And Hanford Dixon has been in and out.
Actually, Dixon is in now, so that's good news. He's not currently injured, although he is still obviously nursing a sore thigh.
Calvin Thomas in motion.
You got it, Willie. You got it. You got it.
McMahon. And it is complete at the 24-yard line. Willie Gault has his first catch of the day. Gault, the sprinter from Tennessee, who had a terrific playoff, and it was his deep threat that really stretched out the defenses.
Obviously a day in which McMahon has favored passes to his running backs, and suddenly he does go and find Willie Gault. Gault's the kind of receiver that can hurt you deep. He still is not a nifty receiver in the shorter zones, but he did take Hanford Dixon on a rather long trek that time and then bring him back to the sideline where he was able to pick up the first down.
That's the first reception by a wide receiver for the Bears. It comes with 1.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 31-21, Chicago leads. On first down, it's Payton. Kicking his way free, but dropped for a Rouse as he's smothered by 4 white jersey Browns. Felix Wright, 23. Anthony, 22. Anthony Griggs, 53 in there. 3-yard loss.
Dick, one of the things you can notice if you look at this particular play is the amount of room that the Cleveland Browns leave between their nose tackle right there, Bob Golick, and the center, Jay Hilgemer. Go ahead and turn it loose. His job is basically to move laterally to try and fight against the run. You see him there as he gets shielded off, but the rest of that Browns defense doing an excellent job of containing the running play there. But see how far he is off the ball. You see him again right there.
2nd and 12, and McMahon with a roll to the left side, and he's going to run it and has some room.
Look out.
And out of bounds at the 29, maybe the 30. Run out by number 23, Mark Harper, a rookie from Alcorn State.
And that's one of the differences between these two teams. Certainly the Browns a read and flow kind of football team, basically.
Well, Philadelphia, the Rams, and Houston all with more than a touchdown lead late, as is the case with Detroit, San Francisco, and Atlanta. And here, Chicago with a 10-point advantage as we tick it down to the 46-second mark, third quarter. Ball at the 30. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Dennis Gentry in motion. McMahon in traffic. Down he goes at the 20. That's the first sack of the day for the Browns. Sam Clancy, an 11th round pick by Seattle in 1982. Acquired from the Seahawks last year, made the play.
We've got an interesting line stunt here going. Watch it as we get a tackle driving inside. Now watch Sam Clancy right here. He'll slide around from the backside and go all the way around to make the sack on McMahon. Watch it first as you get the other tackle from 78, Hairston, who clears the way for him. But Clancy, who's an ex-basketball player with long, long arms, all the way around the backside to make the sack.
Maury Buford comes in to punt and will have to kick into the win. I think the Bears were hoping that that clock might run down in the quarter so he would have the advantage of a following win, but with 25 seconds left, Buford will have to deliver. McNeil, Gerald McNeil at the other end at the Browns 39.
No.
Off the side of his foot. And that one will kick out of bounds in Bears territory at the 45-yard line. So Cleveland will take advantage of a 25-yard punt, or at least is placed in an advantageous position with 10 seconds left in the third quarter.
Special teams scales tipping on Cleveland's side on that play as Buford scuffs one, and the Browns have excellent field position. You don't think Ditka wants to explain that that's not the way he wants it done? Woof.
Well, what can you say? He knows he made a bad kick. Ditka isn't going to let him just walk to the bench without hearing about it.
Well, Mike says, hey, how are you going to know if you did something wrong if nobody tells you?
Thanks, Coach. Probably the last play of this third quarter. Those are going long for Slaughter, and it's well covered by Reggie Phillips, number 48.
Slaughter wanted a bump on that one. Phillips running with him all the way. Slaughter's made some good plays today.
Yes.
They like him. Here's the run between the two of them. You can kind of judge for yourself. Rather incidental contact, but you see Slaughter saying, hey, what about this guy?
Slaughter earned the nickname Incredible Webb, playing off his first name, Webster Slaughter, at San Diego State. He's a rather outstanding saxophonist, played on the high school jazz band champions out in San Diego.
Can you mail in and get nicknames? I've always wanted one.
You had one, the Mule. You didn't like it, though. Kozar drilling it,
wow.
And Slaughter catches it, and then he's drilled by the Bears. Reggie Phillips was there first, a 5-yard gain. The gun, the end of the third quarter. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. 15 minutes to go here in Chicago. The Bears leading 31-21. Cleveland with the ball at the Chicago 40-yard line. A big play here for the Browns if they're to try to extend this drive. It's 3rd and 5. Ernest Spiner, the only man in the backfield, and now Kevin Mack takes his place. Spiner moves out on a wing. Kozar has a man open. It's Brian Brennan. And the little wide receiver from Boston College has a first down at the 28-yard line. Mike Richardson on the play. 12 yards for Kozar.
One of the questions that's been asked about Kozar is how aware of what's happening upfield he is, what kind of vision he has. I got to tell you, off of this performance today, you've got to be impressed. And I mentioned his lack of experience. You know, he didn't play as a sophomore in high school. They had about a 6-game season because of a strike of some kind his junior year, everything his senior year, 2 years in college, and then into the pros last year. He hasn't played a lot of football.
First down for the Browns, trying to cut into the Bears' 10-point advantage. Kozar just threw that one away. He was going to have to eat it. Otis Wilson in on top of him. They tried a little play-action fake, and Wilson didn't buy it a bit. Through 3 quarters, the statistics, 250 yards for the Bears, 243 for the Browns, and possession time about the same. It has been well played and evenly played, the difference being the Wilbur Marshall 58-yard interception touchdown and a kickoff return touchdown, 91 yards by Gentry for the Bears.
Very even game, and I think because of the kind of defenses that Vince Tobin has put in, the Bears are not going to enjoy as big an advantage in possession as they had last year.
2nd and 10, a draw to Mack, and he just gets short yardage down to the 23. Mike Singletary stayed at home and made the play. Number 50, Mike Singletary, man that is just, wherever you go, you hear rave reports on the quality of this man and how intent he is on being, well, he's proven himself as a Pro Bowl player, but not satisfied with that. He really thinks that he can be so good, he'll be the league's most valuable player as a defensive.
He's had a tremendous responsibility in being the emissary for Vince Tobin, too. They've changed their whole defensive terminology. I'd hate to think of how many hours he has spent in meetings and with film and studying with Vince Tobin. It's got to be incredible in the last few months.
3rd and 6 for Kozar. Gets away from one man and then hits Fontenot for a first down at the 16-yard line. 7 yards on the play. Herman Fontenot from LSU, a second-year man, and Kozar did a good job of getting away from the pressure and throwing a strike on the run.
Not bad for a slow-footed quarterback.
That's right.
They say he does not have great mobility, but what he has is escapability. And I think sometimes knowing where the open area is and just being able to take a couple of steps is all a quarterback has to do. He doesn't have to be able to run brilliantly, just able to take a couple of steps and get a little bit of time.
That's a second key 3rd down pass completion for Kozar on this drive. Remember, he hit Brennan to extend it at midfield. This is Biner to the 14, and Fensick almost in late on the tackle. Singletary was there in plenty of time.
Lindy Infante said that they're going to use quite a bit of the 2-back offense. You know, you'll notice that they very often line up with 2 backs in the backfield and then will shift Biner out to a position on the flank or put him in motion. But very often they will go with the 2 backs out of the backfield. And of course that's very effective because both Biner and Mack are excellent blockers.
Biner has gained only 20 yards rushing today on 12 carries. His yardage has come as a pass receiver. 85 yards. 2nd and 8. Kevin Mack trying to turn the corner, plows to about the 8-yard line, and that will be short of a first down. Dan Hampton, number 99, first man there. Washington by 20, Rams by 13, Houston by 28. Detroit leads by 10. 49ers 17-point lead in Atlanta by 25. And now another injury. Cleveland Browns, Kevin Mack, the man who carried the ball, has not gotten up yet. So this could be a very costly game for the Browns, and playing very well. They've lost Al Gross, they've lost Ozzie Newsome, and now we'll see about Mack.
Dick, that's one of the points that we always make. You've got to stay healthy in this game. The Bears did it last year. They made it to the Super Bowl.
Kevin Mack being attended to as he left the field under his own power. He was feeling for his left shoulder, and you see him reaching inside his shoulder pads now, or at least the trainer is. Mack with 2 touchdowns today, and part of the Browns total yardage offense, and they can ill afford to lose him. Herman Fontenot has replaced him, number 28 in the backfield, on 3rd down and a long 2 inside the 10. Fake to Fontenot. Kozar's going to run it to the sidelines. Oh, does he take a lick? It looked like Fensick got him at the 5. A penalty flag is down. Fensick, who gives no quarter, the 196 pounds cast in midair at the quarterback. 2 tough yards indeed for the quarterback Kozar, and we'll check the penalty flag.
Kozar illustrating the fact that he's not afraid to do what it takes to win the game, but that's not what Marty Schottenheimer wants to see him do. And there's the holding call against the Bears defense, which gives them the automatic first down.
Half the distance will be about the same as the gain, although it might take it another yard closer to the goal line.
Vince Tobin sending in his goal line defense. Watch Kozar get leveled
Defensive
here.
holding, number 55. Half the distance from the dead ball spot. First down.
Oh, so it'll be marked off from the 5-yard line to the 2.5.
Very costly penalty.
Otis Wilson guilty of the hold. Marty Schottenheimer, what a good job he's done, this 43-year-old former Pitt Panther. He and Ditka grew up in that Pittsburgh area. Both went to the University of Pittsburgh. They're only a year apart. He is his own intensive style. Oh, the Browns trailing by 10. 2.5 yards away from cutting the lead to 3.
First and goal.
Fontenot replacing Mack. And he gets nothing. Play was slowed down by Marshall fighting off the interference, turning it inside.
You've got to believe there were about 8 black jerseys. They're not black, though.
No, they're
dark
navy blue.
Navy blue
navy
jerseys
blue.
out there. They look awfully dark from up here. They were all over him.
And another injured Cleveland player is Harry Holt, the tight end, playing in back of Ozzie Newsome.
And Holt, of course, most known for his blocking abilities. A very valuable member of that Cleveland crew. They already used Bill Kontz, a offensive tackle, as a 3rd tight end, but now they're down to 1 tight end, Travis Tucker. We haven't seen much of him. Holt walking well. I'm sure we'll see him. Kevin Mack on the sideline. They've got his shirt off. I'm sure they're checking for a separation or a slight separation in that shoulder.
Could be
There's no way to know.
Could be the clavicle collarbone.
Well, we will wait for confirmation of that. We don't want to play doctor from up here in the booth.
But the fact his jersey's off is not a good sign in terms of his play the rest of the day. 2nd and goal. Into the teeth of the crowd at the far end. Kozar being chased from behind. And incomplete. Intended in the end zone. Dave Dorison knocked it away from Travis Tucker, the 3rd tight end.
And characteristic of Bear defensive last year, they were coming with the blitz. Dorison able to get in there and really put the heat on Kozar, who had to throw a very low percentage, almost a throwaway pass. Watch number 22, Dorison, right on the heels of Kozar here. Todd Bell blitzed from one side, Dorison from the other. Kozar lucky to get that ball off even.
3rd and goal. 12.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Viner, no way. Dave Dorison in the backfield to drop Viner for a 2.5-yard loss. And the Browns apparently will settle for a field goal that would pull them within a touchdown.
60,000 fans say, hey, that's the kind of defense that we want our Bears to play. They got the ball 1st and goal on the 2.5-yard line. The ball now on 4th down is out beyond the 5.
Matt Barr was 6 for 6 last week against the Raiders in the last preseason game. And he punches it through. 22-yard field goal for Matt Barr and a timeout. 11 minutes and 48 seconds left. Cleveland trails by 7. Uncle was taken and Crazy Legs was taken, and poor Merlin Olsen felt like he was left without a nickname. And I know earlier it was Mule, but if you had given yourself a nickname, what would it have been?
Moneybags, I don't know. I never did have one. I just couldn't find a good one. If I could, I'd have taken it.
I guess Ole was an obvious one, too. Ball is scooped up by Thomas Sanders, breaks a tackle, breaks another, and finally corralled at the 31-yard line. Mike Ditka very high on this young man, Thomas Sanders from Texas A&M, a second-year player.
Dick, I think it's appropriate here to point out that the Browns are operating at a real disadvantage offensively without Ozzie Newsome, who has consistently been their number one weapon over the last 5 years. Now with Kevin Mack on the sideline, and Harry Holt went out in that last series. I mean, you've got to look down there and say you can't do it without the horses on the field. And Lindy and Fonde working with smoke and mirrors to some degree, but they're only a touchdown back. If they can get the football or a turnover here, they can put themselves in a tie.
11.5 minutes remain. Gentry on the wing in motion. And it's Walter Payton. Likes to throw. He's rocking back and firing. Willie Gault unable to get there. Look at the arm strength of Payton. Ball landed on the 15. He threw it from the 25. It's about 60 yards in the air. Harper and Rockins, two youngsters on the coverage.
You've got to throw that ball to get it away from Gault. You've got to rocket it.
He was 3 for 5 last year with a touchdown pass. Look at a nice, easy form. He didn't really throw it with all he had either.
There's a bump that could have easily been called. Rockins getting a bump on the back of Gault. The officials, I guess, feeling that it was incidental to either that or that the ball was not going to be caught, was overthrown.
So career now, Payton is 11 for 30 passing, 8 touchdowns for Walter through the air.
I thought we had one more.
Look out.
Screen, and it's incomplete. He one-hopped the ball to Suey as McMahon didn't have a lot of time.
Reggie Camp, who was called for a roughing call earlier, really unloaded on McMahon and then turned back to the referee and said, "Are you going to call that one?" And the referee held up his hand. He said, "No, that one was legal."
So 3rd down and 10 for the Bears. 2 incomplete tosses. And McMahon from BYU, the number 1 pick of the Bears in '82. He was the 5th player selected that year. Number 9, it was Billy Wade who wore number 9 in '63, the last time before last year that the Bears won the NFL championship. Flag down. The Browns, I believe, were offside. The pass is good for a lot more, though, and a first down out at the 45. Willie Gault, and how did that ball get through the Browns defense?
Ralph Malone, right defensive end, was offside on that play, and very often when someone is offside, a defense will kind of slow down. They know the call is coming. Boy, you just don't want to do that. You've got to play it out.
90, defense offside, decline the penalty.
That's Ralph Malone.
First down.
They'll take the 14-yard gain.
Here is Gault on the outside working on number 23, Mark Harper. And Harper playing man-to-man. And we mentioned that that's it, the bump-and-run technique. Harper not yet experienced enough to sense that ball was coming, or he might have been able to knock it away.
Well, in the semantics of injuries in football, the report is that Kevin Mack suffered a deep shoulder bruise, which we hope is only that, but will not play any more today. Walter Payton. So the Browns 43, 42-yard line. Eddie Johnson finally got him. Oh, he certainly works with his blockers well.
Excellent block by Tom Thayer, number 57, in front of Payton. I got a good block on the outside. You'll see, I think we'll see the block by Thayer. Bortz also pulling. There was the block by Thayer, right there. Good job. Bortz also got a good block. You know when those linemen are cracking down on people, you're in good shape.
McMahon has come out of the game And Mike Tomczak from Ohio State, a second-year man, is in, and they're looking at the neck of McMahon. Obviously, they don't want us to see what they're doing. From the 43, hand off to Suey. And he bangs forward for 5 more.
Talking to him about his shoulders.
May have been hurt on that screen pass when he went down hard when Camp got him.
Reggie Camp, as we mentioned, buried him on a play a little bit ago. Cato, the trainer, talking to him, along with the team doctor there.
9.5 minutes left in the game. 31-24. The Bears lead it, and it's second down and about 5.5. Mike Tomczak. Up on top has Willie Goltz. And Gold catches it anyway despite the flags, and it's a 1st and goal, Chicago. Well done by the young quarterback Tomczak as they hung it up for the speedy Gold to find. 31 yards.
Working on Frank Minifield, who's been most effective at cornerback.
Defense pass interference,
no
31.
He knows he's
decline the penalty. Take the catch.
And as Galt stopped on that play, Minifield ran right into him. Willie caught it anyway. Nice pass, though. Hung it up. Put it over the top, as you have to do. Galt adjusting nicely to that ball. Gathered it in. Second pass of the day.
1st and goal at the 7-yard line. National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to stations in the team's home area. So some of you viewers will be leaving this game in a few minutes for a telecast involving your team. Meanwhile, Walter Payton, focal point of the Browns defense, as he gains 3. Here are the games coming up. The away cities of these games, of course, are by NFL rules must see their entire game involving their team. So we will be leaving you obviously before the end of this contest in Chicago, but we hope you enjoy the second game of the doubleheader.
And of course, you'll be getting the 10-minute ticker to let you know exactly what's happening here.
You bet. And any other special highlights, of course, NFL 86 as they continue to look at the right shoulder of McMahon. 2nd and goal at the 4. Tomczak. That is not face guarding or interference, but a good play by Mark Harper.
Mark Harper right on top of the man. Going up, the ball hit him in the back, but he did a good job. Again, playing that tough bump and run technique. Watch it here. He's turning to the ball when that ball strikes him. Good play. And Browns defense stiffening up just as the Bears defense down at the other end of the field. Marty Schottenheimer trying to get down the field so he can get a closer look. I got to tell you that if we have an injury to McMahon, this game could have implications. The injury to Newsome, there could be implications for both these teams that would stretch on into the year.
3rd and goal inside the 5. Fake to Payton. Tomczak. Suey out of bounds at the 2-yard line. So Suey too close to the sidelines, could not catch the ball and turn into the end zone. So 4th and goal. And no question, the Bears will go for the field goal. They want to lead by more than a touchdown.
There's Jim McMahon on the sideline. Now that is his throwing shoulder that they're working on there. We'll go back to the replay of the live action, and that's got to be so tough for Suey, who makes the turn only to realize that he's right on the line and can't do anything with that ball.
This is no more than an extra point for Kevin Butler. A 19-yard field goal attempt. Fuller to hold. And he's got it. So the Bears are back in front by 10. Just under 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Chicago 34, Cleveland 24. Papa Bear's personal choice, Mike Ditka, has seen his starting quarterback Jim McMahon come out. There's an onside kick that doesn't work. And Tucker, the backup tight end, Travis Tucker, is to the Chicago 49. There's an unusual call. Leading by 10 points. That's often a play you'll see early in a game or if a team's behind. But the Bears try to catch the Browns drifting back, and it doesn't work.
Of course, the reaction when it doesn't work is to give the Browns excellent field position. But I got to tell you, you respect that kind of call. That makes every team in the league, when they play the Bears, tighten up for an onside kick. The time to run those plays is when they're not expected. This one, however, kind of backfired on the Bears.
Bears were offside as well, but declined by Cleveland. As you see the 10-minute ticker updating the other games, and of course, soon the start of the second half of the doubleheaders.
Looking down on the sideline, Ditka went over to talk to McMahon, came away very upset. I don't know whether it's because of what he heard about the injury, and he also talked to Dick Stanfill, and I think he's shaking up that offensive line. Maybe because he's angry about the protection that McMahon has not been getting during this game.
Meanwhile, with Kevin Mack out, Herman Fontenot is the other running back for Cleveland. Holdus back in, 81. You saw him in motion, and the pass incomplete to Slaughter. Bernie Kosar, just 22 years of age, with a young set of wide receivers. Slaughter, the rookie from San Diego State. Terry Greer, the veteran from Alabama State, veteran of the CFL, where he set many Canadian Football League records, but has not been a party to the passing game thus far. And there goes McMahon toward the Chicago dressing room.
I think what they probably want to do is maybe get an x-ray or get some ice on it, whatever. They're taking him inside.
Kosar down the middle, and it's good for a first down at the 37-yard line. Herman Fontenot, 12 yards. Dave Doerson with a tackle. You see the flak jacket protecting the ribs. And, of course, the shoulder pads removed. And McMahon, the free spirit of the Bears, we'll see how serious that injury is as soon as we receive a report. You'll hear about it.
We talked about it early in the game, the concern for his durability. And he has been hurt many times, and partly because he simply doesn't care about his health. He'll do anything he can to help his team win.
He says he likes pain. That's an unusual comment.
Well, I'm going to challenge that one.
On first down, Kosar under pressure. And finds Greer. There's the veteran from the CFL, and a first down at the 15. Terry Greer, 22 yards.
What a nice play by Kosar. Looked like he was trapped back there. Dan Hampton had a handful of his jersey. Kosar quickly stepped up into the pocket and rifled a shot right in there. Let's take a peek at it here. Well, we're looking at Greer here. He gets open. A nice job of running the pattern there against Mike Richardson. Not a very good drop by Richardson, who had himself at a disadvantage.
That was an example of Kosar's escapability. First down at the 15. Browns just won't fold up, will they? 6:20 left in the game, and they continue to pressure that Bear defense. Kosar looking for 6. Has a man open and overthrows him. He had Fontenot open in the end zone. Fensick came over at the final moment, but had a pass been down a little lower, that was a touchdown.
Had to get it over the head of Mike Richardson, though, Dick, and he couldn't throw a level shot. I think if he hadn't had a defender right between the two of them, he would have been able to zing it in. But you saw on the right-hand side of your picture, Richardson had jumped up, so Kosar had to get it over his head.
Did not see Richardson. That's a good call.
2nd and 10. They settled for a field goal just a short time ago. They can't afford to do it again. They're running out of time.
2 receivers way out of your picture to the left. And now they bring Greer in motion. Throw the other way, but no chance as they try to get Greer to slip through that double coverage.
The blitz was on. Wilbur Marshall, number 58, all over the top of Kosar, whose only chance was to flip that ball out there quickly and hope the adjustment had been made quickly enough by his wide receivers.
Has anyone been a more important part of this game than number 58?
Certainly couldn't say that. Well, I guess if we're going to make that choice, he's one we've got to consider very quickly.
58-yard touchdown with an interception. He has consistently been a top pressure player.
This is a big down for Kosar without question.
3rd and 10 from the 15 with exactly 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Over the middle to Brennan. Brian Brennan, touchdown. Well, they've attacked that pressure defense. The Bears coming with 8 men, and Brennan slipping off the line of scrimmage, wide open over the middle.
The ability to find the open man and to unload that football. Bernie Kosar has done it today.
And Brian Brennan has made some outstanding plays throughout the course of this game. Kosar again showing he can make the big throw on the pressure down, the third down. They're looking for the pass. Barr has the extra point, and with, first of all, let's check it. A flag is down on the extra point. Let's see whether it counts. 34-31 if it does.
Defense, the middle of the line was offside. The point counts. 5 yards on the kickoff.
Well, this is deja vu for the Bear fans. Last year they opened the season at home against Tampa Bay and won 38-28. And of course, as the season wore on, no one could even get a nibble off that Bear defense, but the Browns certainly have. 31 points, but they still trail by 3 with 5:55 left in the quarter.
Turn this loose. We've got a wide shot. Let's open it up and get a chance to look at Brian Brennan. He's going to come around from the outside and just break up. Stop it right there. Stop it right there. There you see him just dipping into the middle, getting a little screen on that side, and then driving up through the middle. Number 86 there, Brian Brennan. We saw him make some great catches early in this game, and the race is not always to the swift. Sometimes it goes to the guys who know how to get good position and then can catch that football.
And you see from that angle how difficult it is for the quarterback. It looks so easy when you're up high, but he's throwing through arms and jumping bodies and trying to find a man, even though that's a short pass, hit him on the move. And Kosar, with that 6'5" height, able to see through some of that and makes a perfect throw. Barr. Galt. That's interesting. Ditka puts Galt back to return that kickoff, and Galt out to about the 27-yard line, where he's knocked down by Mike Johnson. Let's go back. See, just look what, from the other side, what Kosar is seeing as he tries to search out his receiver.
Look at that sidearm throwing action, though. That always bothers me, Dick. If he wasn't 6'5", he'd have a lot of them knocked down. But he seems to sling that ball sidearm, but you sure can't complain about what he's done with that sidearm motion.
Boy, Ted Nathanson and this camera crew doing a great job of capturing that action. Larry Cirillo, our producer here at Soldier Field, anxious and excited about getting this season underway. Tomczak for the injured McMahon at quarterback. Breaks loose. Could be intercepted. Almost picked off by Galt over Mark Harper.
That's the advantage of not having those extra few inches of height. And Dick, it's interesting to take a peek at that scoreboard and realize that this Bear team that gave up only 10 points in 3 playoff games has now given up 31 points in this game against a team that probably wouldn't have been measured on par with some of those that they played against in the playoffs last year. And that means that Vince Tobin is going to be challenged a bit. I think they'll rake him pretty good in the press. And one of the dangers, after having made changes in the defense that was so successful, is that you might have some complaining begin on the team itself. Questions being asked. Maybe this isn't as good a defense as we played under Buddy Ryan.
Mike Tomczak down the middle. Almost intercepted by Chris Rockins, intended for tight end Tim Reitman. 3rd and 10. Now, Tomczak on the last 2 throws dangerously close to being picked off.
Now, we talked about Bernie Kosar being a young quarterback. Tomczak made big strides in the preseason this year, but he is still a very young quarterback and has at times made some poor choices in the way he threw the football. In fact, in talking to Ditka yesterday, I said, if McMahon were to go down, who would you put in? Would it be Tomczak or would it be Fuller? He said, if I needed to come from behind, it would be Tomczak. If I was protecting a lead, it would be Fuller. And yet, suddenly we've got Tomczak. That's perhaps an indication of his respect for the Browns.
3rd and 10. Hand off to Gentry. That's going to work for a first down. Out to the 40-yard line. Oh, the Browns looking pass, and the Bears with a great play call. They'll have another 4 downs with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. The 10-minute ticker as we come to a close of these games. One still in doubt. The Rams lead by only 6 at St. Louis. A final. Atlanta beats New Orleans 31-10. Detroit beats Minnesota 13-10. Atlanta with a win. And the first 4 o'clock games, Denver jumps in front early against the Raiders at home. Jets, Buffalo, no score. San Diego scores early. And so does Kansas City against Cincinnati.
I bet they didn't get as many scores early as we did.
First down at the 40. Payton gets a good block and has 10 more yards before dipping out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Frank Minifield finally ran him out of bounds, and that's 90 yards now for Walter Payton on the afternoon. One of his touchdowns rushing and one on a pass reception.
I mentioned earlier that Ditka had talked to someone about switching that offensive line, and I see that they have changed. Van Horn is out of there, and Becker is in at that right tackle position.
First down at the 50. 4:35 left. Tom Zach stays on the ground and gives to Payton again. Oh, here again. When he is hit, he's driving defensive players backwards, and he had 3 men on him, and he still gained 2. Play Matthews there first.
Felix Wright, number 22, the man who took the brunt of Payton's thrust, and he uses his body so well. And I have always felt that one of the marks of the great backs is they don't go backwards when they're hit. They make other people go backwards. Huh? He certainly did in that case, and Wright had good position on him.
He's only, well, he's less than 50 yards now from the 15,000 career yardage mark. 2nd and 8, and Tom Zach's going to throw. Over the middle, wide open Reitman, the tight end from UCLA, has a first down at the 34-yard line. Well executed before Anthony Griggs can make the tackle. And now the Bears with that 3-point lead, 34-31, chewing up the clock, maintaining possession and driving toward possibly a clinching touchdown.
The one thing you don't want to do here is turn the ball over. You continue to drive, you eat that clock, you only need a couple of more first downs, and you can walk out of here with that 3-point win, and that's a win. Nobody's going to remember how tough this was in January.
Payton. He stepped out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Make it the 15. But Payton, with that run, is over the 100-yard mark. 74th time in his incredible career.
Payton again, getting good blocking. Good acceleration. That's Tom Thayer, the guard. What a great block. Blocked one man and cut 2 more down. And Payton taking. Watch the block by number 57 Thayer on the outside. He gets a bump right there. And watch him as he cuts right across. Takes 2 bodies out. What a nice play.
Out of bounds. Step Payton at the 15. Stops the clock. 2:50 left. Suey, a yard.
You notice that Ditka, whom I'm sure is having an impact on the way these plays are being called, has gone to a very conservative ground attack. Eat that clock and don't put the ball in the air. Johnny Rowland, the offensive line coach over there, Dick Stanfield, or offensive backfield coach, Dick Stanfield, the offensive line coach, both getting their 2 cents worth in along with Ed Hughes.
With that clock running under 2:30, the Browns knew that if they didn't call a timeout, the Bears would just let that 30 seconds run out without having to run a play at the 2-minute warning. So Schottenheimer wisely spends a timeout. Officially, Walter Payton has carried 21 times today for 110 yards. In his 12th year, but only 32. He graduated from Jackson State in 3.5 years. He was only 20 years old when he left school. That accounts for his relative youthful age, 32. It just seems as if a man with those numbers should be much older. But what a wonderful boy he is. There's so much youth in him.
Well, he has fun playing the game, and I think it's one of the reasons that he has been able to be so successful for such a long time. That and the fact that he stayed in such fantastic condition physically. He's been very lucky, too. You can't survive that long without some good fortune.
The 5th man ever to be on a Wheaties box cover, and he said that was a significant honor. Bob Richards was the first, the vaulting vicar, pole vaulter of the 50s, Bruce Jenner, Mary Lou Retton, Pete Rose, and Walter Payton with that honor. Bernie Kosar hoping he has a chance to pull out a big upset here in Chicago. 34-31 the score. You may be looking at those emergency plays as time winds down. 2:25 left, and it's 2nd and 9. Tom Zach to Galt. He's out of the end zone, but a flag is down in the end zone. They're going to call interference on the Browns, I believe.
Some costly penalties. Chris Rockins, 37, his head down in disgust. I don't know whether they're calling it on him or he's just reacting for someone else.
Holding against the Browns. Not interference, so that'll be a first down penalty and 5 yards, not the ball marked to the 1-yard line.
The Browns have really hurt themselves.
Number 31. That's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a first down.
Frank Minifield. So Rockins just disappointed because he could see a 3rd and 10 coming and an opportunity to get that ball back. Now with 1st and 10, additional time will come off that clock.
And goal from the 9.
1st and goal at the 9-yard line.
Watch this hit from the backside.
Griggs hit.
Griggs, yes, Anthony Griggs.
Clearly out of bounds was Galt, but it's 1st and goal, 9-yard line, 2 minutes and 19 seconds left, and Cleveland with 2 timeouts remaining. Plus that 2-minute timeout. But they must hold the Bears to a field goal in this spot, and Payton has other ideas. To the 6. He's looking for his 100th rushing touchdown in his fabulous career. First we go to New York.
Dick, let's check out the debut, and an auspicious one at that, of Jim Kelly. First Buffalo drive. Here's the flip to Greg Bell. Touchdown, 1 yard. In a 53-yard scoring march, Kelly completed 3 of 3. Dick?
Walter Payton. So he's at 99 career rushing touchdowns. One of those today. The offensive line change made by Mike Ditka, that surprise you?
In a way, I think maybe he was angry at Van Horn because it was Reggie Camp coming in over Van Horn that obviously buried McMahon, and I think in anger, Ditka may have reacted by simply taking Van Horn out and putting Becker in. That's a story we won't be able to follow, but I think if we watch the papers here tomorrow, Ditka usually doesn't keep that kind of thing quiet.
Well, the Chicago Bears, who had that highly successful music video last year, have come up with a new one, and here's a little sampling of what they're up to in 1986.
The Bears are going to repeat as Super Bowl champs because we're playing for keeps and we're here to stay.
We're here to stay. No one can take it away. Can't stop us now. Keep holding on. Hold on, and see what's going on. Hold on, don't let it slip away.
Like the man said, here to stay.
They're here to stay, says Walter Payton, who's looking for Payton's place, that end zone. 2:10 left in the 4th quarter. 2nd and goal, Suey. Oh, look at the effort by Suey for a touchdown. Matt Suey hit by 4 or 5 Cleveland defenders and refused to go down.
Suey going to start to his left and cut it all the way back against the grain. Griggs gets a piece. Matthews gets it, or not Matthews, but Sam Clancy gets a piece of him there, but Matt Suey wasn't going to be denied. Just kept plowing and kept those big legs driving. Put himself in the end zone.
An impressive drive directed by the backup quarterback, Mike Tomczak. And it's 41-31 with 2:01 remaining in the fourth quarter.
A day of emotional roller coasting here in Chicago.
So with Jim McMahon back being X-ray, the right shoulder, Mike Tomczak, number 18, the second-year quarterback from Ohio State, directs the Bears under considerable pressure, and he used that man intelligently, that's for certain. Walter Payton to consume time and score a touchdown that may well have clinched this game. The 10-minute ticker reads this way. Washington apparently opens with a win against Philadelphia. The Eagles will come here next Sunday. The Rams eke out a win at St. Louis. Houston impressively beats Green Bay. Detroit, a 3-point winner over Minnesota. Two teams involved in the Central Division of this NFC. The Bears' home area. San Francisco, a big winner today. In the late games, Denver 7, the Raiders nothing. Buffalo, as you saw, Jim Kelly, an impressive drive to start the game. San Diego takes the early lead against Miami. New England scores first against the Colts. Kansas City, a 7-0 leader over the Bengals, and Pittsburgh, Seattle scoreless in the Northwest. Next week we'll have pleasure being at RFK in the nation's capital to see the Raiders against the Washington Redskins. That should be a most interesting game. Butler kicks it off for the Bears. McNeil, a yard deep, is going to take it out. Little guy skipping through some tackles and returns to the 25. Fumbled the ball, but apparently after the whistle. Ron Rivera, one of the early Bears downfield to get a piece of 143-pound Gerald McNeil.
I got to tell you, if I was on a kickoff coverage team, that guy would scare me to death. He comes up in there flying and has such great speed. You give him a seam, he's gone.
1:50 left out, timeout. Back with 1:50 left, and Cleveland with just one timeout remaining and trailing 41-31.
75 yards between them and the goal line. They'll try and get something deep quickly, and of course, if they can, they'll come back with the onside kick. But Dick, I would have to say that Ditka is not going to have to work hard to find things to point out to his team and indicating to them that this was not the kind of beginning that a Super Bowl champion should make. They obviously will win this game, or apparently will win this game, but Mike has not been pleased. And he'll be able to be very direct in approaching both the offense and the defense to show them why they've got to play better if they want to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
That 21-point first quarter featured an interception, 58-yard touchdown, and a kickoff return touchdown. Brennan with his 5th catch of the afternoon. The little receiver knows how to get open. A dozen more for Brennan, who also has a touchdown catch today. Raiders, Denver, Miami, San Diego, Jets, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Indianapolis, New England, Pittsburgh, Seattle, the second game of our doubleheader. The late nature of this one, almost a half hour longer, but stay with us. You'll all see another game. Singletary breaks that one up. And we'll all see one, with the exception of the audience here in Chicago, and that you can only get one game in your home city when your team's at home. But I know the folks here in Chicago will stay tuned for a very important recap of the game. .121 left. 2nd and 10 for Kozar. Dumps it off to Biner. Whoops. Did not get out of bounds. Stayed in bounds. The clock continues to run. Time now for our Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP, Walter Payton for the Bears. Budweiser will donate $1,000 to the United Way on behalf of Walter Payton who had another big day, a couple of touchdowns, rushed for over 110 yards. Tipped and almost intercepted.
I would say looking across the field, because obviously there are a lot of Cleveland fans tuned in, and you've got to be impressed what that young man has done today, Bernie Kosar. There was conversation about the fact that if Danielson had not been injured last week against the Raiders, that he would have started this game. Well, I think Bernie Kosar has already demonstrated to us that he can certainly play this game at this level very effectively. Against even the best heat the Bears could bring today, he has been very effective.
4th and 9. Last gasp for the Browns. Biner does not have the first down. Tackled at the 46-yard line. He's a yard and a half short. And the Bears will take over on downs. Clock stops with a change of possession, 41 seconds. The Bears, 339 total yards today, compared to 145 per game last year. So either the Browns are much, much better offensively than many figured, or the Bears defense just did not have a good day. And
probably a combination of the two, Dick, but certainly reflecting at this early juncture on the game, I think that there is great concern on both sidelines, certainly for Kevin Mack, for Ozzie Newsome on the Cleveland sideline, and a great concern, I'm sure, on the Bears sideline for their quarterback, Jim McMahon.
There'll be a lot of unanswered news when we say goodbye from Soldier Field that will be pertinent information, either later today or morning papers tomorrow. Thomas Sanders to the 43. And the clock is running. I want to thank our spotters, John Engler, Gil Haggard, Dick Boson, Craig Chabelle, John Rice for their help, Joe Costanza and his corps of support. Everyone kept busy with the numbers today, but 72 points scored. Marty Schottenheimer, a wave across to Mike Ditka. And work will begin immediately on next Sunday's encounter. Walter Payton, the Chicago Bears, the defending Super Bowl champions, open the 86 year, outscoring the Browns 41-31. Header, check your local listings. For Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg, so long from Chicago.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines, serving 13 cities in Asia.